Sammy here, Sammy's Tarot Astrology reading time. I'm so happy to be here with you today. It is Tuesday, about to be 5 o'clock Eastern time, and we are in the midst of Capricorn moon time. So that's it's an interesting place for the moon to be, and also there's 3 other planets there, Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto, which have all been camped out in Capricorn for a while now. But before we get too deep into that, why don't we start with a few nice deep breaths and a little bit of chanting. Then we'll talk about what's happening in the sky and the stars. And then we will do a reading from our Modern Witch Tarot deck, which should be super fun. It still smells new, and it's been so amazing using this new deck that features women of color and incorporates modern life, and I think it's making for really powerful readings and that are easy to connect with. So let's take 3 deep breaths together. Thank you for sharing it with me. Now, about the stars and the sky and the moon. The moon is in Capricorn, and the moon will be, welcome! Hi! It's so beautiful to see you here. Oh, someone very special just joined the live, and it's great to have you with us tonight. We were just starting to talk about what's happening with the moon, because the moon is in Capricorn, and not only is the moon there, but Saturn and Jupiter and Pluto are all there, and it's pretty special because Saturn and Jupiter, which are going to be closer than they'll be for over a decade at least, in December, they'll soon start to shift out of Capricorn. So we only have a few times where the moon's going to be with 3 planets in Capricorn like this, the way we have today, Tuesday, and tomorrow, Wednesday. And Capricorn can bring to the emotions, it can bring a lot of steadiness and stability and carefulness, which could be really helpful, but it could also bring a bit of a controlling aspect, or taking things seriously in a way that the moon isn't necessarily in harmony with, because the moon is about intuition and flow and sort of following the path of the emotions, where Capricorn is very much methodical. So that's interesting, and then having all those planets there. And we do have this big squares happening where Mars is making a square with the moon in one direction and Venus in the other, and with Mars in Aries and Venus in Libra. But don't worry about all those squares, which can cause a little bit of tension, but we do still have Neptune in a trine. And Neptune had been in a trine with the Sun for quite a long time, but now Neptune is moving into a trine with Mercury. And so at the same time as Neptune is going to be in a trine with Mercury, Mercury is going to be opposite Uranus. And what that means is that there could be, basically, it's better to be more in touch with our dreams and our intuition and our instincts today and tomorrow than it is to be more focused on asserting our peculiarities and individuality, which is Uranus, which is opposite Mercury, versus Neptune, which is about dreams and intuition. So if there's ever anything that comes up in the next couple of days where you're feeling any kind of confusion or discomfort or not really sure how to move through a certain moment, thinking of Neptune in Pisces and that mystical, dreamy, spiritual place and touching in with the heart and the feelings will allow a greater ease and a greater flow than that Capricorn and where we have the moon, and Taurus where we have Uranus, which is a little more about assertiveness, digging in your heels, having things needing to be a certain way, or worrying about whether you are getting what you need in very particular ways. So sort of just following the heart and the intuition and the spirit will make today and tomorrow really lovely. And what else? So yeah, we have 2 days of moon in Capricorn, and then by Wednesday at about 5 o'clock or 4:30, the moon will be moving into Aquarius. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow. And tomorrow, you have my word, I'm going to be here in the morning. I know I said that last night, but this time I mean it. And I think that'll be very beautiful to start the day together. So why don't we turn to the cards? And if you haven't joined us lately, you might not recognize this deck, this beautiful, gorgeous turquoise deck here, which is the Modern Witch Tarot deck that my incredible wife bought me as a wedding present, and it's really beautiful. So you'll see a few cards tonight, but I highly recommend it. Let's see, I'm going to shuffle now if you want to watch. And this beautiful starry night sky, sun and moon tapestry here. Okay, so while I shuffle, if you want to join me in taking a few deep breaths, and if there's anything that you'd like some guidance around, this is the perfect time to focus on that, or to, if there's anything that you're grateful for, or excited about, and you want some possible ways to go deeper with that, or to experience that joy more fully, let's see what the cards say, and hopefully they will give us, not hopefully, they will definitely give us something to consider. Okay, deep breaths. Okay, cutting the deck. Welcome, welcome. I'm going to pull 3 cards today. One. I'm going to use my left hand because we were talking about how it's all about intuition, and Neptune the next 2 days communicating with intuition rather than that more careful and calculating version of ourselves. Okay. The first card is the Page of Swords. Isn't this card beautiful? Isn't she gorgeous? We have a young witch here who is just starting to learn how to wield the sword, but who's already standing with a lot of grace and power. There's a blue sky and there's fluffy clouds, and she has her sword here, and sword is air, ideas, intellect. We have Venus right now, Venus in Libra, so talking about communicating with love and directness, and also we are very close to, we're only a couple of days from Sagittarius season, and I think this card, even though it's an air card, it captures sort of the focusedness and the directness of that. So we're soon going to be in the season that's all about focus and directness and seeing things clearly and speaking clearly and communicating clearly. So here's our first card. And with humility. The second card. Ooh, interesting. The Knight of Swords. So you have the page is the person who's just starting out and learning, and then comes the Knight, who's already quite experienced and skilled. And so we have this, which is about starting out on the path of communication. And then here you have somebody who, this amazing witch here, who is galloping on a horse, flying, moving swiftly with focus, with bravery, with courage, in the direction that they're set on, and also moving with connection to. So you have a horse here that they're riding, and in the tarot deck and with archetypes and everything, teaming up with a horse or with an animal, it also is about like connecting with the part of ourselves. Welcome. Hey Russell, so glad you're here. And it's about connecting with the part of ourselves that is really instinctual and natural. So since we were talking about how the next 2 days it's all about following instincts and tapping into intuition and our dreams, that's sort of like this here. Hi Tracy, so glad you're here. This person here, this Knight of Swords, is connected to their intuition, just the way they're connected to their horse, and are moving quickly and in the direction that they seek to go in. So here you have someone who's just starting out, who's learning to use the sword, learning about directness and sharpness and clarity and communication. And then you have somebody who's already got a lot of that practice and that power and that skill and confidence and is moving that way. So I think this could be a great read about how the next 2 days, or the last 2 days, in Scorpio season, and then we're in Sagittarius season. And so we're kind of moving more into this swiftness and directness towards where we want to go. Our third card is the Moon. Here you have it. And you have a couple lovely witches dancing or standing under the moon. They have wolf, it looks like a fox mask on, and these long nails, and they're standing by the water and looking at the moon and the stars. And the Moon card reminds us that we can learn a lot from our intuition and to not be afraid of what is below the surface. And since the moon is in Capricorn right now, and we have all of this, I would say it means that as we are moving swiftly ahead, it's also important to continue to express emotions, including ones that are a little more wild and maybe fierce, because our instincts and intuition can help us to move forward, but also they can help us to stay put in the moment when that's what we need to do, to feel what we need to feel. And so there's nothing wrong with that, with feeling whatever's coming up right now, and trusting that in 2 days we'll be in Sagittarius season, which will be a fresh start, and with lots of energy for creativity and for moving forward. And we've just got to feel a couple of feelings along the way, but that's okay. Okay, so those are our 3 cards for today. Why don't we take a few breaths together? And as always, if you want any more in-depth readings or specific readings, you can message me. I'm always happy to hear from you. Let's take a couple of deep breaths. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. I get cut off. I'm sorry. It said low battery. Well, if you missed some of that song, it was the one time, I don't know what I said, it just came out. But anyway, thank you so much for being here together today, tonight. I wish you a beautiful evening, and remember, maybe look up Neptune if you want. I think that would be a great way to balance out the Capricorn moon energy, is to tap into that Neptune place, Neptune in Pisces, and I will see you back here tomorrow morning. Have a beautiful evening.